We have been walking through life with this big cloud of fear and worry over our head, wondering if Kyle is going blind, wondering if his blood counts are going to continue to drop, if hospitalization is in our future yet again. And all of these questions have filled us with so much worry and concern and further questions. This week has been truly a trip, but for any of this to make sense, we actually need to go all the way back to August of 2023. In August of 2023, Kyle took 1 dose of Keytruda, and that 1 dose of Keytruda completely upended our life for several months and his health. After taking that 1 dose of Keytruda, his blood counts quickly plummeted. It led him to be in a chronically neutropenic state. He spent multiple stays in the hospital. He had to get 3 liters of blood transfusions, had to go on a bunch of medication, get a bone marrow biopsy, and that led us to discover that he had formed aplastic anemia, which is a very rare side effect of taking Keytruda, which was a truly horrific and scary time in our life. There were many moments where his doctor said he may not make it, like the likelihood of surviving this is very minimal. Most people don't survive it because your body has no means to fight off infection or illness. So if something were to happen and he picked something up, he could easily die from like the smallest thing that most people would just brush off by the next day. And as we came out the other side of this multiple stays in the hospital, it left Kyle on many medications that stimulate the bone marrow to produce more blood cells, because basically his bone marrow wasn't producing new cells, which is what aplastic anemia is, from my very layman's understanding. In that same time, he was also noticing some struggle with his vision, just seeing a little less clearly, and thinking maybe it's just age. But his oncologist was like, sometimes when these conditions happen, they can cause infections in the eyes and changes in the eyes. So I want you to see an ophthalmologist and just make sure that your eyes are in good health. So we went and saw them in November of 2023. And they said Kyle had 20/20 like distance vision, just needed minimal power reading glasses. We're like, great. And our life continued. Kyle got reading glasses and everything was kind of smooth sailing. Many bumps as our life presents, but then his blood counts were able to kind of remain stable. So over the last couple months, they were slowly tapering him off one of the bone marrow stimulants so that he could eventually come off all of them, because it's not something you want to be on long term. And he was doing okay, and so they finally were like, let's try to taper off this one particular one completely, because that's like the last taper. As soon as he went off of that, which was the beginning of April, and each time he would get labs, you could see that those counts were just going down gradually. And then come the beginning of May, they fully went into that low, below normal range. And there was a lot of fear of, what does this mean? Or is the aplastic anemia rearing its ugly head? Is his blood counts just going to keep dropping? Because in the past, that is what happened. Were you fearful?
Not really, because I've had my blood counts get that low before, and I've always bounced back. So no, I was not fearful.
Meanwhile, I was, because when they've dropped in the past, they drop quickly, and then it's been, oh no, it's gotten so bad that hospitalization or all of these interventions are required. Which is like really hard to see your husband face those things and struggling, and see him tired and not himself, which comes with those blood counts dropping. And as we always do, we were like, okay, what can we do to help build the blood up and use the tools that we have available? So we recently started working with a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, and he was like, I'm gonna put you on some Chinese herbs that help build white blood cell counts and platelets, because those were the ones that were dropping into the lowest range. And he started taking them last week, the day of his last blood draw, where his levels were at 3.2, and the lowest within the standard range is 3.8. So not super low, but low enough that if they kept dropping, everything else was gonna follow suit. And to our shock and amazement, his blood counts within 1 week of taking those herbs skyrocketed to 5.5. And it was just like such a relief to see that at the beginning of this week of like, oh my gosh, something positive is happening and it's working. Like, the only thing that I kept feeling after reading that report was like, Kyle's body wants to heal. It just needs the right tools on its side, and it needs gentler, calmer, more loving almost medicine on its side. And that's how I feel Chinese medicine is. It's just such a supportive practice. I mean, his counts are living proof of that. Yet, through the roller coaster of blood counts over the last several weeks, Kyle's just been noticing, my eyesight's getting worse, my eyesight's getting worse. And over the last week, he's been saying, I'm really struggling to see. And I've noticed a change in him of just being really fearful. Not like his positive, optimistic self that, oh, I just need glasses. Like, that's just the change. It's more this fear of like, there's something that my tumor is causing, and the fear that going blind is a possibility.
Because our acupuncturist told me that your eyes go through your brain and cross over, and there's a little sensor back here, which is your optical nerve. And I thought that they were because of my brain tumor.
Because he has one in the left frontal lobe, and there's a small tumor in the back of the brain, which hasn't changed or done anything, which is great. But because of where that placement is, he was like, it's very possible that the vision decreasing and so rapidly could because of the processing center is being affected by the tumor or the swelling or something like that, which was like a gut punch to hear. Over the last couple days, we've just been hanging in this place of like, for me, just feeling utterly depressed. And realizing that a lot of it is like picking up Kyle's, not so much fear, but his lack of optimism that he usually walks through this journey with. And the fear of like, what if my husband is going blind, and what would our life look like, and not wanting to touch it, and so just honestly avoiding anything and just numbing out. So we finally were like, okay, we need to get in to see the ophthalmologist, and thankfully they were able to get him in this week because the vision just diminished so quickly. And I don't know if you can describe what it looks like.
It just looks like, for the first while, out this eye, just blurry. And then a couple days ago, a week ago, I would go like this, and this would be starting to get blurry also. And then I can't see anything. Like, I can't read anything. It's scary.
And so what he means is that for several weeks, his left eye, probably several months, his left eye went faster. So we would use this covering his eyes as a reference point. Like, if I cover my right eye and I can't see, like, okay, that's normal, because I normally haven't been able to see out of that eye as of recently. But whenever I cover my left eye, I can at least see out of my right eye. So kind of compensating by closing that one eye to see things. But over the last week, when he would do this, he couldn't see out of the right eye. Yeah, that's just a really hard thing to like to hear and to, I'm sure, experience for you. Like, he'd be doing anything and just being like, I can't see that, I can't see that, I can't see that. And it's just so gutting to know that you're struggling to just see the beauty of life around you. So this week we finally were like, we have to get in to see the ophthalmologist and just get like a recheck, like what's going on, and if it's not the eyes, then we know that there's something else at play, but we need to rule that out. Even just driving to that appointment, asking Kyle, like, you know, how are you feeling? Just him feeling like, I'm really nervous that it's because of the tumor. It's because of my brain, and that is why I'm losing my eyesight. And again, that's just not his nature. He's the most optimistic, positive person. And so it's just hard. And that made me feel so much fear of like, something's not right because you have a knowing. And so if your knowing's telling you that, it just made me feel like, oh no, what is the news that we're going to get? Which thankfully, Kyle is not going blind. Which, like, what a relief. What a roller coaster of emotions. We went from like this high of his blood count skyrocketing and him not having to be hospitalized and him being very strong, like, immunity for the most part, to then walking into an appointment just a couple days later fearful that we were going to be told that he's going blind.
Jesus.
And then to be told that he's not going blind, that he has cataracts. Cataracts. Due to being on steroids, which didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
Probably should read the side effects from taking drugs, all of them, because long-term steroid use, oral steroid use, can cause cataracts. And the average age to develop cataracts is 65. Kyle is 45, so he's a little early to the ball game.
I am happy.
So that means that Kyle has to have surgery, and not just one, but two. So they do one eye, and then 2 weeks later do the other eye. So we're hoping in the next couple weeks that we will get that ball rolling. He'll get surgery so that he can see again. He will likely have to get like stronger reading glasses because when they improve it for distance, it does affect the reading.
I'm not gonna die.
Honestly, like the greatest relief to know that it's not the tumor.
Jesus.
And that it's something that's like relatively easily fixable. I mean, surgery's not easy. It's outpatient, thankfully. So it takes 2 hours for like the whole, like you get there, prep, which takes an hour, and then the procedure takes, 30 to 45 minutes, and then coming out. But it has been a whirlwind of a week, and we found this news out yesterday. And then today we're feeling like some relief, like, okay, his blood counts are doing better. He's not going blind, but he did have a seizure this morning. So it's like this constant roller coaster of emotions. It's like you feel like the highest highs and the lowest lows within, it could be moments of each other. That's been a big part of, I feel like, this journey, is realizing that you learn how to hold like the vastness of emotions at the same time. Because I still feel so grateful that your counts are going up. I feel so grateful that you're not going blind and that you'll be able to see me until you're 99. Could you imagine not being able to see me?
No. My God.
I can't imagine not being able to see you.
My God. That would suck.
Yeah.
I'd rather lose my hearing than my sight.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want either.
Me too, true.
I mean, but also, like, you could still live a beautiful, vibrant life with either of those things. It just would be a harsh change to your reality. And so, watching Kyle have this seizure this morning, it was just like...
It was a small one.
It was very minimal. He just started, like, kind of not being able to speak, and just had, like, not even, like, the smallest head twitch, but, like, it was not a full seizure, which is a gift that they are presenting as less intense and more just these like fleeting 20-30 second episodes, more so than a full-blown seizure. But it has been such an emotionally taxing week, and it was filled with lots of fear and lots of worry, and I feel like we're leaving this week with like pretty good news.
Yes.
I mean, his counts hopefully will continue to stay stable, if not improving. Soon he'll be able to see a lot better.
Oh my gosh.
Which...
Thank God it's not my brain. Highs and lows. It's our life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learning to navigate it and find ease and surrender in all of it. And know that it's all just part of it. And hopefully you're not facing quite as many roller coaster twists and turns in your life, but know that whatever you're facing, you can handle it. And that we're all facing our own things, and I guess it's just a reminder to just be kind to people, because you never ever know what someone is facing. We love you, and we will literally see you in the next one.